Hello, my name is Josiah Thompson and this is my soil analysis. Right now, the earth is in trouble, but the answer could be right below our feet. Healthy soil and regenerative practices can create a healthy planet. I'm sure that everybody knows what this is. This is soil, but not everyone knows that soil is alive. Soil shares a symbiotic relationship with plants. Plants pull CO2 from the atmosphere that goes into the soil, and microbes in the soil feed on the CO2 and in turn produce things like phosphorus and nitrogen that enrich the soil, helping plants grow. This in turn creates a good structure for the soil that reduces runoff and flooding that could cause erosion. It's important that we make a change to the way we farm because already over 1/3 of our topsoil has been used up. And scientists predict that in 60 years, the rest of it will be used up too. So we have to make a change.
According to the United Nations, the world's remaining topsoil will be gone within 60 years. In other words, unless we find a way to save our soils, we have 60 harvests left.
Let's talk about carbon sequestration. What that is the use of trees, perennials, and plants like the ones you see behind me, and taking the CO2 from the atmosphere and storing it down in the soil, called the carbon sink.
Biosequestration is using plants, trees, perennials, and techniques of grazing and farming to capture carbon and store it in the sink of the soil.
The 4/1000 initiative, proposed in 2015 at the Paris Climate Summit, proposed the idea that by raising the carbon storage in agricultural soils by 0.4%, it could counteract the annual emissions of humans. Really, changes like these start with farmers. It's important to educate our farmers because at the end of the day, they're the ones that can impact our soil the most. It's important to educate farmers on ideas like carbon sequestration.
We have a social problem. We have an education issue. And until we get that right, we can't fix our ecological issues.
I have been in NRCS for 31 years.
It was kind of amazing to me as I was teaching all over the country. I'm going, wow, our producers don't really know how the soil works.
We need to switch from conventional to regenerative farming. It is time we start using safer farming practices. No-till farming is a great practice. It protects the layer in the soil called the crop residue that keeps the microbes safe in the soil. It also prevents erosion by keeping the structure of the soil. It promotes soil health by minimizing the disturbances towards soil microorganisms.
Most use no-till planters, which are designed to slice through plant residues from previous harvests while minimizing soil disturbance as they plant the seeds for their crops. Here's how it works. Pulled by a tractor, a no-till planter uses thin, rotating discs to make a narrow slice through the plant residue and into the soil. Next, a tube places the seed at an appropriate depth in the soil, while a second wheel gently presses or firms the seed into the soil to ensure proper seed-to-soil contact.
Let's talk about another great farming practice. It's called cash cropping. And what this is when the cash crop is not in season, another plant is planted on the same field. And what this does is it actually enriches the soil, keeping it healthy year-round. Let's talk about some of the challenges that come with regenerative agriculture. From an economic standpoint, some of the challenges are switching over from conventional to regenerative, the cost of buying the correct mechanisms used for certain practices, and farmers have to relearn how to do these practices. So that's a problem. And scientific challenge that comes with it would be that there are all types of different soils, and what practice that could work for one soil might not work for another. For example, there are sand soils and clay soils, and those two are two different things. So you have to figure out what works for each, and one might not work for the other. As a community, something that you can do to support regenerative ag is to support the farmers that have regenerative agriculture practices, whether that be like at a farmer's market or someplace like that. And from like a government standpoint, I think we could have like incentives for farmers to switch over because at the end of the day, it's helping our planet, and I think that benefits us more than having cheaper, cost of farming. So, because of the cost that is associated with it, I think the incentives from governments to help out would be beneficial for the farmers.